Hi, welcome back to another Translator Insider. This week we continue talking about translation and we talk about a much better thing than last week, which is the power of positivity and being positive and being and seeing things in a positive way, which definitely helps to cope with stress and cope with all the negative things we have around us. So stay tuned for another Translator Insight. So let's talk about positivity. And I think that's a subject that we all need at the moment. Unfortunately, with all this madness that there is in the world, there is not much positive things um, around us. Look at what's happening in Ukraine. The last 2 years of madness as well. Um, Cost of living, interest rises, rent, everything. Seriously, if we look at it, there's nothing really positive around us at the moment. But I think we should always look at the bright side of things. We should always look at the positive side of things and try to cope the best way possible. Because if we see it that way, it helps us cope, it helps us create our own strategies to um, overcome the challenges that we may face, and it may be a better option for everyone, because obviously a positive person is a much happier person, we all know that. And it's also that person that always sees the glass half full, and I think that is something really important. If we always see the glass half full, we always tend to see the best in things, and we always tend to aspire to do a better work, to achieve greater, you name it, to be better. And I think that's very important, because if we let ourselves go into the negative spiral, into the all the environment that we are at the moment, that unfortunately it's not very positive, and if we let ourselves go with all of that, we end up depressed, stressed, and that will bring us down. And that obviously will affect not only our mental health, obviously, that will be highly affected, but also our performance at work, our lives, everything. It will end up affecting every single aspect of our lives. So if we try to make a good thing out of a bad thing, um, I think in the end it will work for everyone. It will be a much better positive outcome for everyone. So, um, because as I said, being positive helps our mental health. If we have the right mindset with us, um, it will help us go through and navigate through the worst times. And definitely, we are now in that. And if we keep positive, and if we keep focusing on our goals and on the positive things that we want to achieve, it really keep us focused. Because if we keep focused on the positive thing, on the goal that we want to achieve, that over there, we keep on looking at our horizon and looking to get there, rather than all these little obstacles we have around us at the moment that are in some ways getting in the way of going there. If I know, if you know what I mean here. I think if we just, for example, at work, if we just focus on what we want to achieve and block off, for example, all negative comments we may have, or even around the world, if we try, of course we all watch news. I'm guilty of that. I cannot start a day without knowing what's around me, and obviously watch the news and know what's going on around the world. And I think, such as myself, a lot of people are like me. But when you get to a point that you are overwhelmed with bad news and with bad things, sometimes it's good to filter and block away some of that in the name of our mental health. I'm not saying that obviously we should ignore what's going on in the world, we should ignore all the events that are around us, because obviously they all affect us, and basically it's virtually impossible to block it off completely. But we need to be able to filter a little bit of that and still keep the focus on what we want to achieve, because that keeps us focused, that keeps our mindset positive, that keeps our positive outlook about things. I apologize for the noise, but there's a massive downpour in Sydney at the moment. Um, and this obviously will help you cope with stress, cope with a lot of things, and even the way we address things. For example, negativity and negative comments and things like that. I have mentioned this before, especially in regards to some types of clients. I know, for example, in forums and translators groups and social media pages, sometimes a lot of translators or some translators tend to leave negative comments, let's say about some agencies, the usually called bottom feeders and things like that. And that's not nice, because of course it's good to expose bad practice, and I for one do that all the time. Last week I just exposed what happened to me at Udemy, so obviously it's important to expose bad practice, but try to do it in a constructive way, try to do it in a positive way. Yeah, this was the bad experience that I had. I use this as a learning curve, as an experience to teach me resilience and to teach me to be better on my next step, on my next adventure. And that's what I'm doing. For example, with the Udemy situation, that's exactly what I'm doing. I use that bad experience that I had as an experience that I learn with all the things that happened there. So I learn, and now I'm trying to do a better job. I'm trying to do a better research. As I said last week, I'm partly to blame for that, because I may have not done the thorough research that I think I should have done, and I relied on the popularity that the platform had at the time. But if we really use a bad experience as a learning curve and transform that really bad experience into a positive experience as learning, as a way of proceeding in our journey and getting to where we want to be, I think that's the key. So, for example, with those experiences with those clients, maybe clients that don't pay or something like that, instead of, for example, using social media or these forums that sometimes are public and can be also accessed by other clients, other possible clients, instead of having a very, very negative comment that are really not going to be liked by other clients that may read it, because you don't like, if you see something and if you see a comment that is really negative and perceived as full of hatred, full of negative thoughts and things like that, you obviously going to stay away from that person, because you think that person is going to be like that, is going to be a resentful person, is going to be someone very negative. And obviously you don't want to work with someone like that. So we can expose, we can say, well, I had a bad experience with such and such. I used it as an experience, didn't pay. I think the rates could have been better. There's always a good way and a much more positive way of telling your story and telling about a bad experience that you might have without that negative input that is going to single you out, is going to put you that reputation of being negative, that reputation of being someone that holds a grudge, someone that is constantly whinging, sort of speak, and that obviously will tarnish your reputation and will tarnish the way your possible clients will see you and perceive you. So I think a positive aspect, a positive outlook, a positive mindset, most of all, will help you not only with your mental health, which I believe is crucial, because if your mind is healthy and if you're feeling well, if you're feeling good, you will obviously be able to do your job much better than if you're not feeling 100%. But it will also help you in your performance, because you will give to your clients that positive outlook, that confidence. You will show your clients that confidence, that ethical values, everything that you have, that they may also like and they may also perceive as a value. I think that's the key here. If we have a positive mindset, if we see things the best way possible, even a bad experience can be transformed in a positive one. If we look at the bad experience as the learning that we have, as an experience, and as a way of us knowing that we should do something else, or we should do something differently to avoid having that bad experience in the future. And I think that's what bad experiences are about. It's a learning curve for us to get ahead and learn what not to do in the future. And if we do that like that, and if we do it, and even a bad experience is seen as a learning experience and something that will in the end be positive, I think it's much better for us, it's much better for our business, much better for our mental health, and it's a win-win in the end. And that's my opinion. And that's all for today. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope you are full of positive thoughts. That's the aim of it. And I hope you can actually see the purpose of all of this. And obviously this is not just chit chat, not just talk. I think having a positive mindset is very important. It's something that I try to have every day, and it's what keeps me going. I know it's not always easy, and sometimes we have very challenging times, and it's hard to keep a positive mind and a positive mindset. But if we have it in mind, if we keep on focusing on that, even on the most challenging times, we always manage to find something on the positive side, and try to block off all the negative, all the nasties around us. So if you are like me, if you always look at the glass half full, please share, leave me a comment below and tell me what's your strategy, what do you do to avoid all of this negativity that we have around us at the moment. Or if you are really going through tough times and you really don't know how to cope, share as well. I think it is important, most of all, it is important that we share our experiences, because sometimes just the fact that we are sharing our experiences with someone, it's already helping us to assimilate what's wrong, assimilate what is challenging us, and maybe getting a little bit of comfort and a little bit of a strategy, of a self-evaluation of what might be causing the issue, and maybe getting solutions or a strategy to get solutions. I think talking is a very, very good thing, communication always being the best we have. So share your experiences, either good or bad. Uh, and of course, put a like on the video and subscribe the channel with a click on the bell so you get a notification of a new insider every week. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching. Have a lovely week. See you next time. Thank you.